Hello, today is February 15th, 2020. Let's go over our calls. Look for the pattern with the early low, and that's what we got. And when the market reopens on Tuesday, we should have the pattern with the early high. We said that lower prices should print, which they did, but we couldn't hold them. Now, shortly after I said this, the market in after-hours trading hit a new all-time high, but even in spite of that, we did see the lower prices. This wall into the close, I'm not a big fan of walls. Usually they reverse, but on Fridays they usually follow through. And that's why the opening on Tuesday, I think, is going to be important. We'll come back to that in just a minute. We had some MEJT signals that said this rally was false. It reversed, had an ultimate signal to buy. So that was false. So this drop was false. Got the minimum, then we got more. All this has played out. We're at resistance based on a number of different factors I'll show in just a minute. And I was expecting more of a drop on Friday than we got. We now have 9 bars of a daily setup from Tom DeMarco. It doesn't have to be a stall here, but more often than not there is. It's possible to count this as a completed combo sell, but again, these really haven't worked. It's another reason to look for a stall. Come to some more. I had counted wave 3 as ending here with what I was calling an ending diagonal triangle. I said if that was going to work, there should be a hard, fast drop, and that didn't happen. Still could happen at Tuesday's open, because that opens a surrogate for Friday's close, but so far we haven't had it. It's still possible to count this as an ending diagonal triangle, with this being the end of wave magenta 3, but it's also possible to count this as wave magenta 3 and that 4, with more upside to come before we hit magenta 5. Either count's a valid count, and that doesn't really tell us if we should go higher or lower on Tuesday. At some point we should go over this line by the same distance we've gone under it. We're not too close yet, so regardless of what happens Tuesday, I don't think the rally's over, but still, if we drop 100 handles down here, we're not going to have much consolation if that happens. Who wants to sit through that? Now here's the daily chart, and you can see how this high we have is a Fibonacci target of the prior consolidation, so it's a possible top, but it's not the only target. And so if it works, you can say it worked, but it's not the only target. It's one of them. A more convincing chart is the monthly chart. So it's part of the reason I was looking for more of a drop. Here's your Fibonacci target on the monthly chart right there. Here are again fan lines from this major low in 2009. This major high in 2007. When you see a junction like that, usually that's a stop and reverse point, and to continue higher, ideally you should gap over the line or the line wins. So this is a perfect place to look for a reversal of some sort, not a major one, since I think we're going much higher. But as far as Tuesday is concerned, we've already consolidated here for a long time. We've already traded higher in the after hours market. If we did break out to a new high, if it isn't by much, I don't think it would change anything on the other charts. So Tuesday we have the early high. I'm not making a call specifically for that day. I think you can make a justification for a move in either direction. For its strong resistance, much higher prices should be in the offing. We're ripe for a modest correction. I can't say it's impossible we get higher prices printing first. Ideally, by the time we open Tuesday, we'll have a gap outside of last week's range, and then we don't have to guess, but I can't even say that's required either, so I'm just not going to swing at this pitch as far as Tuesday is concerned. A few other odds and ends. I've already had to block a few people who post predictions on my channel. No one ever posts a prediction that says I'm right, but I'll get people who just say I'm wrong and then just leave it at that. I personally think it's kind of rude. An analogous situation would be if a chef with a lot of followers took you into his house, gave you a free meal, you ate course after course, and after you were through partaking of his generosity, he said to the chef, "You know what, I cook better than you do." I think it's kind of rude. Now, if you post the reason, that's a different story. That's like bringing your own home cooking to the chef and say, "You know what, here's the recipe for what I made. I'd love you to give it a try." I don't think that's rude at all. I think that's just sharing. But just again, if someone's just going to post a prediction saying he agrees with me, I'll block him if he doesn't give the reason. I think it's a waste of people's time. If he posts it, says he disagrees with me and doesn't give the reason, I think it's rude. In either case, I'll block you. Now, someone who gives the reasoning behind the calls is Norm Linsky. He was on last month. I got a very favorable email response. I'm thrilled to say he'll be back on Thursday. He'll tell us what he says the stars have in store for us, for the market. I can hardly wait to hear what he has to say. So for next week, we're at resistance. I can't rule out higher prices printing first. I'd like not to guess on this. Hopefully we'll get a gap outside this week's range. But if we don't, I can't say it. It's impossible. I'm just not making a call specifically for Tuesday, other than to say it's the day with the early high, and that's today's non-call.